ladies and gentlemen and vector graphic designers. We're going to do Inkscape Tutorial 05. So the first thing we have to do is open up Inkscape, and we have to open up this project. We're going to go to Layer, Layer, and we're going to make sure we're on the working on the drawing layer. Okay, so we're going to draw some of these things using basic shapes. So we're going to draw a happy face. So we're going to click right here on the circle tool, and we're going to click and that didn't work. I'm on this weird tool here. I'm going to click right there. Okay, I'm going to start over. So I'm going to go to the circle tool. I'm going to select, make sure it's actually making a circle, and I'm going to click and I'm going to drag down to create a circle. And on this case, I'm going to stop there, and then I'm going to click and drag, make the eyeballs. I'm going to click and drag to make the eyeballs, and then I'm going to go to my curve tool, and I'm going to click and drag and click and drag to make the happy face, and right click to be done. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give this a fill color. So I'm going to select the circle with this tool, and then I'm going to use some sort of fill, whatever fill I want. Oh, what am I doing? Blue for a happy face? No, it needs to be yellow for, not that color yellow, not that color yellow, that color yellow for the happy face. And then on the eyes, I'm going to make them white on the inside, and then I'm going to shift click to make it blue on the outside. Okay, and so I'm going to click on the mouth, and I'm going to shift click and give him a red mouth. And I can, as always, I can right click and go to fill and stroke, and the stroke style, I can make this whatever thickness I want. Okay? Okay, so make sure you write this down. So we're going to use basic shape tools. We just started. Write this down. The fill color is the inside color of a path or an object. So the next thing we're going to do is to make nodes smooth, or make the nodes into a corner. So what we're going to do is this. So we're going to go to our pen tool thing here, or our Bezier curve tool, whatever you want to call it. So we click, 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 click. All right, so we're making this shape. Why are we doing this? Because, let's zoom in on it so we can see it. So we're going to zoom in on this. So I'm going to change the stroke to be 5 so we can see it. Okay, no, that's too big. Let's change it to 3 and hit tab. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to change these things to, we're going to change that node right there to a curve. So if you look at when I click on this tool, there's all sorts of things that happen up here. So I'm going to change that to a smooth curve. And I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to make that one a smooth curve, and I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to make it a smooth curve. Okay, and then on this one, let's say this one was a smooth curve. So what we could do on that one is we could say, oh, let's turn that one into a corner, and then I grab this, and I can turn it into a corner, and I can make a heart out of those little angles. So we could obviously need to adjust it a little bit to make it a nicer heart. Okay, and then obviously we're going to fill this with red. Okay, so anyway, so now we've learned how to do the next thing. Let's take a look at the next piece over here. So let's double click on we're going to click on this tool. We're going to select this shape here. Oh no, there's no shape to be selected. You can't click on it. Alright, I'm going to go to the zoom tool. I'm going to press shift and zoom out. Okay, so we're going to make this thing out of basic shapes. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to this, and we're going to make a polygon that has 6 sides. So we're going to click and drag this, and then we're going to go to the move tool, and we're going to move it where we want. It doesn't have to be exactly like this, but this is just kind of an idea of what we're going to do. Okay, so we're going to make this 6-sided shape. Okay, and so then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here, and we're going to make one that's, oh no, not that. Okay, so we're going to click off of this guy, and we're going to make a new shape. So we're going to click and drag, and this one is going to be, it's going to be 8-sided. Okay, so I'm going to click on this thing, and I'm going to move it. I'm going to use this tool, and I'm going to, I don't know what that is. I'm going to click on this tool. I have no idea what's happening. Oh, edit, undo. Okay, so I'm going to go to the move tool, and I'm going to move this tool. So now you can see that it's not aligned up properly. So I have to rotate it. How do you rotate? You click, and then you click again, and you see the rotate button. So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to rotate it to where it's right there, and then I'm going to move it right up to it, and then I'm going to click again to get this this tool. All right, and so then, okay, good. Now the next thing is what I want to do is I want to combine these things together. Okay, so I'm going to click on this. I'm going to hit Shift. I'm going to click on this. So I've selected both of them, and so you're going to go to Path, and you're going to go to Union, and you're going to combine them together. And so if I get rid of the, well, that's not what I wanted. They were combined together, but not how I wanted. All right, let's go. Let me press Control Z, 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 Z. So let's see if we can get these things. Okay, so what I'm going to do on these things is I'm going to hit Shift. I'm going to get rid of the fill. Let me try it again. So I'm going to move this inside of there, and I'm going to hit Shift, and then click on this one, and then I'm going to go to Path, and I'm going to join them together. There we go. That's what I want. And then we're going to give them a different, make sure you give them a different fill color than you give them stroke color, so I can see that you have successfully combined them together. Okay, so you can take basic shapes and then you can combine them together. Okay, so we're going to make this shape, and we're going to learn a couple things in the process. So we're going to start off with, how many sides? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we got an 8-sided shape here. So we're going to go back to our tool, and we're going to make this, but we're going to give it no fill so we can see it. And we're going to, it's a little get carried away with that. So hit that and then hit Tab. Okay. All right, so we're going to go to the move tool. We're going to move this guy around. We're going to click again. We're going to rotate him to get him about where we want, and then we're going to move him. Okay, that's close enough for what we're trying to do. Okay, so the next, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off. I'm going to go to Layers, and I'm going to turn off this. I'm going to make it to where you can't see this layer because that's just crazy. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a star to it. So we're going to go to this thing right here, and we're going to add a star, and we're going to make it a 6-sided star. And so we're going to click and drag for the star. Okay, but if you notice, if I turn this thing back on, you notice it had some interesting stuff going on here. Okay, so one of the things we want to learn is how to make this thing bigger. So if I click right here and I click, ooh, I can't do it. Oh no, what am I going to do? Okay, so I can't edit the node, so I select the star, and I'm going to go to Path, and I'm going to go Object to Path. And what that does is that turns it into an editable path where now it has nodes, and I can do that. Okay, and then the next thing I can do is I'm going to go to this guy right here, and I'm going to make that thing have make it smooth, and I'm going to drag this to how I want that to look like that. That looks beautiful right there. Okay, so that's what I want right there. And then I'm going to go back to this, and I'm going to shrink the whole thing down to about that size, and then I'm going to click again, and I'm going to rotate it like this, and then I'm going to go back to the move, and I'm going to move it right in there like that. Okay, and then I'm going to combine these shapes together. So I'm going to click Shift, I'm going to select this, and then I'm going to go to Path, and instead of adding them together, I'm going to subtract them with difference. And so you can see that I have the shape. So if I fill it, you can see that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my circle tool, create a circle. I'm going to go to my rectangle tool. I'm going to create a rectangle that goes right to the center, and then I'm going to click on this, hit shift, click on this, and then I'm going to subtract those. So path, I'm going to do difference, and so I get my little moon shape, and then I'm going to move that right inside of it, and so then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hit shift, select this, I'm going to go path, and I'm going to do difference, and so now when I fill this thing, you can see that I have one shape that I've subtracted a bunch of stuff from. Okay, let's see if we forgot anything from the spiel. We made nodes smooth, and we made some nodes corner. We object to path allows you to edit shapes. Write that down. So you had a shape you couldn't edit, and then you could edit it. We joined paths together, and we subtracted paths. Okay, I think we got all that. I think we got all this thing. Let's turn this thing on and see if there's anything we missed. Nope, nothing we missed. All right, make sure you go File, Save all your good work, and then we're going to open up number 6. So we're going to go File, Open, and we're going to open up number 6. What in the world do we have for us in store here for 6? Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so we have this beautiful star shape here that we're going to try to make. So how do we make that? So we're going to go to our star tool, and we're going to draw a star. No? Oh, you know what's happened? I didn't do the normal thing. I didn't go to layers. We have to make sure we're on the drawing layer. Okay, so now I can draw my beautiful star. Doesn't really matter what it looks like at this point. So what I wanted to show you on this is that you can use some of the tweaking tools. So if you go up here, not to be confused with the twerking tools. So you go to the tweaking tool right there, and you can go to some of these things like this where you push parts of the path in any direction. So you can grab this thing and you can just kind of start moving it in interesting directions. So try these different tools. This one is the shrink. So you can shrink in different parts of it. Okay, this is the what is this one? This is the crinkle, roughen. So if you click on it, it roughens the path. So you can, if you you have to zoom in on it to see it, but so it's kind of crazy. But if you go to the nodes, oh, you can't do it. So you have to. Well, let's zoom out. Hit shift. I haven't converted it to where we can edit it with nodes yet. Okay, so then let's keep going. So we're going to go to the tweak tool, and anyway, so those are some things that you can do. Let's do this first. Let's click on this thing. Let's go path, object to path. And so now if I go here, now you could actually edit all those little nodes. Look at like the bazillion little nodes it added. So if you clicked on this thing, you could actually grab those nodes and edit them. Let's go back to, let's zoom out. And so let's see, there should be some more tweaking that we can do. Yeah, so you can see it seems like it edits it differently once you turn it into a path. So that's where you can get some more curves out of it. Okay. So anyway, I want you to take a basic shape and tweak it like that. So the next thing I want you to do is learn how to use the text tool. So the text tool is basic. You click right there. You choose your font that you want, and you choose your style, and if you want it light or bold or what you want it, and then you just type in whatever text. So I'm going to type in my name. No? Let's try it again. Okay, and if you want, you can change the color of the font. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to type on a path. And oh, by the way, I wanted you to put this on a new layer. So let's go to this. So let's go layer. So we get here, and we're going to add a layer, and we're going to call this, we're going to hit plus, we're going to call this text. And we're going to click add. So now we have our text layer. So I'm going to draw right on top. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a path. So I'm going to go to my Bezier curve tool, and I'm going to draw a nice path. and I'm going to be done. And then I'm going to go to some text, and I'm going to click, and I'm going to type text on a path. And I'm going to select it, and I'm going to hit Shift, and I'm going to select the curve. And then I'm going to go text, put on path, and you can see that it puts the text on the path. Okay, and you can do the same thing with shapes. Let's see what we missed here. Okay, tweak objects allow you to sculpt. We added layers, we added text, we added object to path works with text too. Add text to a path. Okay, so the one thing we forgot is the object to path. Okay, so let's come over here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to add some text. And we're going to choose an interesting font. Let's find the most interesting font we can find. Let's choose Broadway. And we're going to say, no, what just happened? Let's try this again. So we're going to click right here. Okay, we're going to edit this font. So what we're going to do is we're going to select that font, and we're going to go to Path, Object to Path, and what that's going to allow us to do is to use this tool, and we can actually edit individual letters. So let's go back to that. So we can grab that and we can adjust this, so we can actually play around with the fonts. So do all that. Okay, and then that's it for this one. I think that's it. Let's double check. Oh, take those notes, and then we're get ready on the next spiel for the 2 challenges, the pair challenge. But make sure you save your work.